Welcome to this week's edition of the Lowe Down. Tim Howard making his debut on the Lowe Down this week. 5 questions, as always. 3 from Robbie, 2 from Tim. We'll start with you.
I got the first one. So which team has impressed you most in the first 2 weeks?
Everton, I think. Everton is the first team that comes to mind with the new signings, the way they've all seemed to have hit the ground running. And I like the fact that Carlo Ancelotti hasn't eased any of them in. We've seen a lot of new signings at other clubs who are still on the bench and coming on for a few minutes. I like the fact first game, played them all. Second game, played them all. They're scoring, they're assisting, they're playing lovely football. They feel different, they go behind. I don't worry. Feel like the Everton fans at last, Tim, and you'll know all about this, actually have real life hope. So Everton, yeah. Tim.
It's not a bad answer, actually.
Thanks.
Possibly sticking with the Everton theme. Which player stood out for you the most over the first 2 weeks?
Yeah, sticking with the Everton theme. You're right, James Rodriguez. Yeah. You know, it's interesting because we've seen so many players come to the Premier League with big reputations. Not all quite as big, actually, as this player. A World Cup Golden Boot winner from 2014. He had pressure on his shoulders. I know he's older now. But there were people saying, I'm not sure whether or not he's going to like the rough and tumble. I'm not sure whether he's going to fit right in. But he's scoring goals. He's assisting. He's looking dangerous. He's shooting on sight. He's got that amazing left foot. Use the word silk, pure silk. And we don't have enough of those, actually, at times in the Premier League. So I'm loving his silkiness. Yeah, and he's my star man right now. Okay, no more Everton questions, Tim, all right? Otherwise, you can't come back on the Lowe Down. Too much Everton.
OK, new signings.
OK.
Which new signing is going to have the biggest impact this season? Thiago or Gareth Bale?
Oh, that's a really good question. How exciting, by the way, about both of those. Obviously, I've seen a lot more of Gareth Bale than Thiago, just purely from down the years and working on the Premier League when Bale was there. So my instinct is to say Bale, but I'm worried about his injury problems. I am worried about that. And I'm also worried about the expectation levels. And I'm worried that he hasn't really played a huge amount of football and has mentally had a big challenge to get over at Real Madrid with the way that he was treated. So that does concern me. I'm going to say Thiago. But I want it to be Bale because I just think there's nothing quite like Bale running down the wing. It will be spectacular if it comes off.
Yeah, the easy questions are with me. Has Dele Alli played his last game for Tottenham Hotspur?
I mean, I asked you that very question today on the show. Jose Mourinho says no, he hasn't. Jose Mourinho says, of course, he has a future, but Jose Mourinho does tend to tell the odd porcupine. And if you watch the recent documentary, you'll see that he definitely does that. So, yes, because not to be in the squad at all and not to travel to Bulgaria for the Europa League, with the arrival of Gareth Bale, those 3 things, and the fact that he's criticised heavily in the recent documentary since Mourinho came in, they don't seem to have a rapport, they don't seem to have a relationship. I think Mourinho tried to get that relationship when he first came in. Do you remember he said, oh, are you Dele Alli, or are you Dele Alli's brother? And he tried to get that, but it didn't. Dele Alli didn't really respond very well to Mourinho. So I'm not getting the feeling the two are bonded. And they'll get some money, nowhere near, I know I'm going way over time. They'll get some money, nowhere near as much as they were done 2 years ago. Short answer, yeah, I think you can.
I think this answer might be a shorter one as well. We'll see. Is it time for Chelsea to move on from Kepa?
Yes, and I have to say yes, because the person who's played, you know, hundreds of games, 399, I think, Premier League games to my right, says yes. So
no, this is yours. This is the Lowe
I know,
Down.
but I'm learning all the time, Marcy. You know, you've got to learn things in life, right? As you carry on, you could do is learning a little bit of that. Yes, I do think they have to move on because I feel, and I'm from the human aspect of this, I feel really sorry for the guy. You know, most expensive goalkeeper in the world. It's not his fault that he's the most expensive goalkeeper in the world. And I feel like, where does he go now? Mentally, every day must be horrible, knowing he's kind of on his last legs, as it were, for Chelsea. And there's somebody coming in, he knows. I mean, it just must be horrible. I know they paid a lot of money. I know you've got to have a thick skin, but you're still a human being. And I think it's rotten and horrible. Is there a bonus question?
Not so fast. There's a bonus question. Yeah. Bearing in mind some of your choices last week, would you like to make any changes to your predictions from...
I mean, pretty much every answer.
Can we just remind everybody of that?
We can remind everybody that I did say Chelsea were going to win the league, and I said that City and United were going to finish in the top 4, no particular order, and I did say Liverpool were going to finish 4th. What I didn't say, Tim Howard, last week, was that 4 was going to be incredibly close in terms of points. I mean, it could literally go anyway.
All right.
This week, bearing in mind Thiago, Diogo Jota, and Chelsea's back line situation, I'm just going to tweak that slightly. I'm not going to tell you exactly what's going to happen, because I think I do need a couple more weeks. You know, the transfer... The transfer window is still open, Robbie Mustoe, so I'm going to slightly change
Massive
that.
waffle, by the way.
What I think is, what you should know, what I think is Liverpool are not going to finish fourth. Don't think they're going to win the league, but they won't finish fourth. They'll finish higher than that. I'd like to also change relegation as well. I did say Burnley, Brighton and Fulham would go down. I'd like to add West Brom, so one has to stay up. So I'm going to say that Brighton are going to stay up. Not that I have a knee-jerk reaction to any, of these games at the end of the season.
We'll ask the same thing next week and the same thing
the Marcus
next week.
Rashford Golden Boot, I'm not convinced about that. There's a few I'd like to revisit again, please, in 2 weeks' time when the transfer window's finished. So that was the Lowdown, featuring Tim Howard. Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe. Make sure you subscribe to watch highlights all season long and always join us every weekend at 7 a.m. on NBCSN for Premier League mornings. Plus, make sure you subscribe to Peacock Premium as well, where you can watch exclusively live 175 games and same-day on-demand replays of all 380 Premier League matches as well.